Master Naima here. Happy Monday. Today I'm talking about the 5-day money vortex. 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks from today. Today is July 13th, and 2 weeks from today is the 5-day money vortex for melanin transformational leaders, teachers, coaches, magicians. I was thinking all of us who are in this high spiritual work. All of us who are in this high spiritual work. And what we're doing is unprecedented. So I am Master Naima, the CEO and thought leader here at Melanin Sovereignty. And we are strictly, unapologetically here to restore the identity, the right identity of melanin transformational leaders, coaches, healers, teachers, etc. Teaching you how to be in healthy relationship with money, and teaching you the 6 and 7-figure business acumen so you unite these three and basically live like modern day royalty. That went out this morning because I'm just like, this is vast what we're doing. We're lighting the trail. I'm very clear that we're going to inspire a lot of other Black business coaches and Black speakers and Black thought leaders and Black, right? Even if they never say it directly, or work with us in any way. Or what we're doing is so on the axis of the Most High. It's restoring so many rights. Melanin folk coming into right identity about who we are is just so right on so many levels. It is just so right on so many levels. Getting into healthy relationship with money is so right on so many levels. Learning business, like, sometimes I forget, like, because I've been doing this for so long, and it's remembering that so many folks don't even see themselves as business owners. Like, they're thinking that they're running a business, and right, but they're not thinking like a business owner. They're like profits and losses, revenue, recurring revenue, marketing, how this thing affects that thing, seed planting. I mean, like, all of the things that matter in business. Right. So that's why I say, and they're so vast. That's why I'm working so diligently on the team, because it's going to take so much more than just me. I'm the thought leader. I am the charge. I'm the battery. Right. I am the descendant of the all. I am supreme. I'm right. And for a lot of beginners, they're going to start with our trauma specialists. A lot of our beginners, because they're unable to really receive me now and really benefit. Like, how do we get you from where you are, whether you're under $50,000 a year or you're at $100,000 a year in your high spiritual business, and bring you along into whatever the goal is for you, right? Some are happy at 6 figures. Some are like, I'm very clear that I'm meant to impact thousands, and that reflects in my income. Because you're a business owner, right? If you just wish to be, a Patreon person who has, you set up your whatever you set up there, and people pay a fee for you to, produce something, create something whenever you feel like it, or on a certain schedule. Like, that's cool, right? There's so many different ways to do this. There's Mighty Networks, right? Go set up a membership system over there, set up a course over there. There is just like what I see a lot of melanin folk doing on Instagram and YouTube, where they put up their Venmo and their PayPal or their Patreon, right? And all these different things. And they just get on there and they rant and they talk and they share their perspective and their wisdom and their whatever. And people donate if they wish. People give them, like, all that stuff works. Here at Melanin Sovereignty, we're about you creating a business and structure for the long game. right? This is long game work that we're talking about here. This is not just some 6-month project or some do it when you feel like it, or I'll try and see, or I hope we can whoop-de-whoop. This is for those of you who it is very clear to you and it is very desirous within you to build a lasting business that creates some form of wealth in your right now and in your later, that impacts you and your family now and impacts you and your family later, right? So we're talking about long game here. We're talking about an actual business, a thriving business, and that you build it online. The 6 and 7 figure business acumen that we're teaching you is for online business. I have been online my entire career. I remember the first time I spoke with a woman and she wanted to meet in person. I was like, why? Because I was never trained from jump to even meet people in person. So the first time this woman wanted to meet me in person, I was like, what? Just the thought of commuting to her, and I was like, oh God, I just felt so. But I guess if you've been trained like that, like if you're trained as a therapist, right? Like therapists turn into coaches and, you're just trained that you meet people in person, then I can see why it's a mindset shift to go to strictly online, right? So that's what we're doing though. This is strictly online. This is you being global. This is you setting up shop in this way. Like here I am on my Facebook page and I'm on YouTube, right? These platforms are all over the world. And I'm going to get into today's topic in a moment. It's important to really position what we're doing here. So, you can discern, oh no, melanin sovereignty is not for me, right? Or yes, melanin sovereignty is for me. So this is me lighting a clear path so you know exactly what we're about and you can make a clean, clear decision to be here firmly, sincerely, or not. I very much like the division. Yes, no, this is for me, this is not for me. Either one is cool. Just tell the truth, right? I had a session with a client this morning and we were talking about integrity because she's focusing on really being in integrity with her word, being in integrity with her actions, just being in integrity. And I told her, I said, and this applies to all of us, whenever you feel yourself, because another thing I mentioned is how the world celebrates and encourages people being mediocre. The world celebrates and encourages people forgetting who they are, lying, being out of integrity. The world supports and encourages that. So whenever you feel yourself confused, like confusion is not it's abnormal to be confused. It's not of the Most High. Confusion, anywhere there's confusion and lack of clarity, and what is true here? What is true? Every single time. Okay, is this true? Are you feeling like, well, I feel like this and I feel like, okay, so what is true? Well, this happened. What's true about it? That's how you can clean up things real quick and get out of all this. The world to have you just don't even forget. You forgot who you are. You're confused. You're overwhelmed with other people's stuff. The news, the agenda, other people's thoughts and words and feelings. And what is true? Is this mine or is it not? Whose is this? Did I agree to this and I didn't even realize I was agreeing to this? I now disagree with this and this is out. So I was telling her, you get down to the truth. Okay, what is true here? So I share that with you too. What is true here? Is it true or is it not? Is it mine or is it not? Clear. All right, now that we're done with that. That was connected to something else. Maybe it'll come back around. So the 5-day money vortex. So this is an outpouring of all the conversations that I'm having with folks, which are so much fun and enlightening and pleasurable and expanding my network. Folks who I've been connected to on social media for years or for some months, we're just talking for the first time. Can you imagine? Like if you just like folks you've been Facebook friends with for 3 years, but you never really met them, you talk to them now, right? And they're all melanin. Most of them are doing some kind of spiritual work. They're all over the world, from London, all over the United States, the Caribbean, Canada. We are all over France. And I keep telling people, as I've been telling you, we're building up the team. We're building up the team. We're building up the team, because what we're doing is vast. And really, it's going to take you a minimum of 2 years, really, a minimum of 2 years to get to this place where you are embodied as a first nature way of being, embodied in power as a first nature way of being. So when we first start working, there's a ton of practice. There's a ton of reconditioning. There's a ton of remembering. And in that, you have moments where you forget. You have moments where you get tired. You have moments where you take off, so, right? Some kind of retreat, or, right? There's kind of like this getting back inside yourself over and over and over again. It's like settling inside who you really are, right? As you're doing the work, right? So it's like you doing this particular work or practice for 3 months, and you are reintegrating into yourself, right? And you're human, right? So you have all this, you're living in your life every day, and you have your relationships and you're reading, right? And so you kind of like settle in, and then you reorient, and then something happens that reminds you of, oh, okay, this is my work. This is what I care about. This is my value system. Remember? And when you're with us versus when you're out, so when you're out there, it's way easier to fall off and to forget, and to, before you know it, 2 years have passed, and you're like, man, I went on a 2-year detour. Versus when you're with us, solid, without break for 2 years, it quickens your embodiment. All right. So you get embodied, and it's like a reorienting inside of yourself and settling inside of yourself, and then you're ascending all the while. Okay. I don't want to lose you guys when I start talking about ascending, but it's a real thing. But it's so advanced, and I just got the message. Okay. Anyway, so the 5-day vortex is an answer to folks being like, Naima, that's great that you're building a team. What do I do now? What about now? And I've been sending folks to my YouTube channel. I've been sending folks to other coaches who I know who are doing hardcore business coaching. They're not doing what we're doing. Nobody's doing what we're doing. But look, if you're ready to get some business coaching, perhaps this person can support you. And so it was put in me 5-day. Really, the 5-day is a prelude to a 30-day, for the record. Okay. So the 5-day is a great opportunity for those of you who either are brand new to my world, right? You're just meeting me, or you've been in my orbit for some time, but you've been at a distance, right? Or you already know, you're just like, Naima, I'm sick and tired of watching. Like, Naima, it's nice to see you on video, but I'm ready to start working together like yesterday. Let's rock and roll. And you're really just in the 5-day, so you can be available for the offer and sign up for the 30-day. There's the gamut going on here, all right? So that's what this 5-day money vortex is an answer to. Those of you who have been, even those of you who don't even realize you've been asking me, or you've been silently asking me, and I picked it up telepathically. This 5-day money vortex, we're going to go deep into it. So there are 5 areas that we go into. Each day is a different topic. And the first day is this video. Today's video is your money identity. What is your subconscious thoughts about money and you and your relationship to money? So there's a link with this video to receive full details, to receive an invitation to where this 5-day money vortex is going to be happening. Click the link with this video. Click the link with this video. Click the link with this video. Okay, that's going to send you over to us, and we are sending out, we actually already sent it out, I think it was this morning or yesterday, details about the 5-day money vortex, which starts July 27th, by the way. July 27th, July 27th, July 27th. So that took me 15 minutes to get to your subconscious thoughts around money. So while we will go into this deeper, and there will be exercises inside of the 5-day money vortex that will help you start to really corner corner what's really going on with you, you are going to love this. One of the most immediate ways to subconscious thoughts about money is to just simply look at your reality. Because one of my favorite sayings is what a person, wait, how does it go? It goes something like, the result of a person's life is what they really think. Everything else is just talk. Let me repeat that. The results of a person's life is what they really think. Everything else is just talk. So the everything else is just talk is what I call your conscious mind. Like, we all consciously think a lot of things. Like, if we sit down and have a conversation, you and I right now, we talk, you will be sharing with me mostly your conscious thoughts. Well, I'd like to do this, and my feeling is this, and I think this, and I had this thought yesterday that this, and my plan is to do this with my business, and then I was inspired to do this, and then that, right? Those would be your conscious thoughts, typically, right? For those of you who are more intimately in relationship with your subconscious and you're highly self-aware, then it's possible that you would be sharing with me a lot of your subconscious thoughts, right? Most people, though, that's not happening. And so it's like, okay, I think this, my plan is that, right? And then you look at 6 months later, what it is that you've created, right? Whatever you've created 6 months later is what you were really thinking in these 6 months preceding 6 months later, right? So whenever I want to know what somebody really believes financially, I just look at their financial reality. So I'm telling you, just look at your financial reality right now to know what your subconscious thoughts are about money. Another thing that we're going to get into inside of the 5-day money vortex is, one, your first memories of money and what story you created and how you now live that out. Like, the intimacy with that is tremendously helpful in transforming your relationship with money. And we're going to go into this more deeply so you can have time and space to do this. So the first memory with money, the feelings that you've conjured up that you have probably stored away and you don't even realize you've stored them away. And how you live that out in your adult life and your business now, okay? This exercise also often helps you to look at what money ideas you have adopted. They're not yours, you pick them up from your environment, right? And to see how you're living them out. See, the beauty of being inside of a 5-day container, a 5-day vortex versus just looking at me here is we get a chance to be on some level of accountability, right? It's free and like you can come and go as you please, obviously, but you still get to be inside of a structure for 5 days and corner a lot of what you are not cornering when you're just looking at me out here like this. You just come look. Ooh, yes, you eat and feast, and then you go off, and maybe you do the exercises, maybe not. Inside of the 5-day, you get to corner, because see, what happens is the subconscious is just running amok all the time, and it's making you do things, and you're like wondering how you got to places, and right? And it's just because the subconscious mind is just having you do all that's. I'm talking as if I think you guys are already aware of how the subconscious mind works. It's been implanted. You've implanted material in there. First of all, the first 7 years of your life, tons was implanted in there already. And that was not of your volition. Like, you were raised by people who put things in you. You saw things, right, have been put in you. And even through teenage years, you picked up ideas, you had experiences, you created stories and meanings and feelings, and now they're deep down and they're totally dictating how you move now. So you could be 40, 45 years old, had an experience at 15, create a story and meaning around it, and you're living it out. You're 45 now, but you're still carrying that act out as if you were 15. So when we're inside of the 5-day money vortex, everything that you have buried in your subconscious mind about who you are, what money is, and your relationship to it, we get a chance to corner it. I love this shit so much. We get a chance to corner it. And with your love and attention and honesty, You get to literally alchemize it in a day. I mean, like you could do that. Some people pop like that because they're just so ready to transform a thing. And some people got to like work at that thing for days and weeks because it's so deeply ingrained and that there's a part of them that's not really ready to transform it. That's why when people look at other people and they're like, well, she did it so fast because she was ready to pop. There's a part of you that's not quite ready to pop. And that's okay. You keep doing the work until you are ready to pop, because I'm telling you, when it's time, it happens naturally. There's no forcing necessary. This happens. This stuff is so natural and easy. And I always know, you always know, everybody watching you always know when you are serious about a thing because it shows, it reflects. You don't have to talk about it. People see, people feel. It just is. It's natural like that. That's what coming into right relationship does. You don't have to talk. Things just, it happens. That's what I mean when I say melanin transformational leaders, teachers, coaches, healers, magicians, shamans, etc. coming into their right high identity, right relationship with money, rights so many wrongs. It just restores so much at a global level, at a cellular level. It goes into bloodlines and stretches out beyond just the individual. This is vast what we are doing. It is immense. This is infused with the holy high. This what we're doing here is infused with holy high. Do you understand? So when I talk about coming inside of a 5-day money vortex, this is what we're doing. When you come inside of the 30-day, when you come inside of the year long, if you end up working with me privately, this is holy high. Man, coming into right identity is correcting so much. And as I almost said, this is literally tilting the Earth's axis. You get large numbers of melanin folk. You know, some of you may have been seeing the conversation that's going around now is melanin being a technology. And I'm coming back to this, or I'm going to come back to subconscious relationship with money. This part is important in here with the identity piece. There's a conversation going on right now. I first heard about it by this high spiritual guy I respect in Atlanta. And then one of my Facebook friends shared a video of a guy who talked about it, and he talked about it in relationship with another melanin woman. And so it's a conversation that's going around right now, which is about Black being a technology, Blackness as a technology, and how we often see technology as just a laptop or a smartphone or software or something like that, when the actual communication of melanin with the sun is a technology. And how that, and there's different ways you can hear, but they're all saying the same thing, which is basically that the communication that melanin folk have with the sun gives them an advantage. It's a competitive edge is what it is. In business talk, having melanin is a competitive edge because your communication with the sun, and all pieces of you that are melanin, not even just your skin, but dark eyes, dark hair, anything else on you that's dark. Those are the only things that I know of. Hair, eyes, I think inside your ear, skin. Is it the skin in the ear or is it something else? Anyway, your skin all gives you a communication with the sun, which allows you to transmit, receive high intelligence from the moon, the stars, all the high living elements that make up this planet Earth, that you then, and this requires interpretation, high interpretation. And this is why so many Black people are so ruined at a consciousness level, because their fascination and focus on just the Bible and the Bible's limited interpretation. The Bible is a limited interpretation of the vastness of the system of things. You know, many of the principles matter in the Bible. Many of the stories help to drive home certain principles. It helps you understand in living form why love matters, why being of full heart, why forgiveness matters, like all the principles that we find in the Bible. And there are metaphysical pieces that the Bible does not expound upon. Gosh, I could really get into this so much, and I will get into it more inside the vortex. So I'll just park that right there right now about when we learn how to, yes, consider the Bible, but recognize that the Bible is like, let's say these are all there is to know. The Bible is here. Metaphysics, when you go higher into metaphysics, that's above what the Bible even speaks about. Being, tonality, and attuning to using language and vibration to attune to the vibrations of the moon and the sun. Is the Bible talking to you about that? So that's that. I'll leave that right there. And so when melanin folk really start to respect the Bible as it is for what it is that it has to offer, right? And start attuning to the higher ways of being that are in relationship with the sun, relationship with the moon, relationship with the stars, relationship with the ocean, relationship with air, okay? And can interpret the invisible, can interpret the invisible and bring it down into word form, which that's a skill, to take something that's not of the brain, the mortal brain, that's of high intelligence, that is not of language, and then interpret it and bring it down to language. Do you understand the superiority of that? And then to bring it down to a low language. English is a low language. Melanin folk doing that? Ain't nobody doing this in the market. This is why I say it's going to take you 2 years. Like, the brain requires so much taming. So with everything that I just said there, can you see why, with everything that I just said, right? And I'm just going to say, okay, everything I just said here, chattel slavery and all its impact here, right? This is vast, right? And then you being here today talking about your relationship with money. A tangible thing that your energy and interpretation and story making and beingness in relationship with it. Listen, I am not for the masses. I'm going to do my part. And my part is to teach those of you who will do a better job at touching the masses than I ever will. I'm not interested in CNN and being famous in the eyes of the sheep. I'm not interested in what I'm talking about is of a high nature, and I will remain until the last breath leaves my body. I will remain in highness. I will teach those of you who are more who can more touch the masses than I can. I am of the purest supremist. So it's so important that you learn this material, that you come into highness with who you are to the degree that you can, because we are all endowed differently. Okay? And you go do your work, whether it's ancestral work, because that's going to touch, I'm telling you, ancestral work, that is high spiritual work. Transforming relationship with money is high spiritual work. Because in order to transform relationship with money, you got to get down into a psyche. You got to get into a person's interpretation and story making. It is so intimate and so personal coming into right relationship with money. Right relationship with one's body. To embody vast power. I think it was last week I did a video on embodying vast power. And this is what my client and I discussed this morning. We're working on her becoming embodied, an embodied leader. So in the word embody is the word body. Okay? Embodied. So, you guys, this is so come inside the 5-day money vortex. This is vast. I mean, you can feel that already, right? Like, I can feel the limitations just talking about this on a video. I feel the limitations. When you come inside of the 5-day money vortex, we're going to go a hell of a lot deeper. We'll have 5 days, and then I will even like it better because we're going to be inside of a separate place behind closed doors with people who have made it clear that they wish to be there. So there's going to be a different kind of engagement because these are people who actually, right, choose to be there versus out here in the wilderness where any and everybody can just sort of show up whenever they, and so that's that. So day 1 is subconscious. Of the 5 days of the 5-day money vortex, the first day is your money identity. And what are your subconscious thoughts about money? Here's another way to start to look at what are your subconscious thoughts about money. When I say to you, go put together a 30-day package for a person to work with you and put on there the price tag that you think is right to put on there. What does that trigger in you, right? If I tell you, go create your first $10,000 package, go create it. What does that trigger in you? You see? This is how we start to point at what's going on in your subconscious mind about money, right? Because oftentimes, and I'm getting ready to wrap up here, the subconscious is just doing all kind of things and we don't even realize it's doing it. And then as soon as we start cornering it, which is what I love about this 5-day money vortex, as soon as we start cornering it and it can't run, and you're like, what is this story? What's the truth here? Is this mine? This is not. It is mine. Okay, this is what I choose. This is how much money I really desire. Why? Because this. And then this is not even mine. Ugh, right? And inside of the right? Like that's what happens, right? And so that's what I'm excited about. So it's happening 2 weeks from today on July 27th. I am asking you guys to share this. So I'm never going to reach the masses. I've been informed. It's not in me. It's not my position in life to reach the masses. My masses is to meet my masses. My place is to reach so there's an onion. Let me talk about it like this. This is how I've talked about it a lot in the past. So there's an onion, right? And there's the core of the onion, right? And then there's all the outer layers of the onion, right? So I represent who I am, who I be represents the core of that onion. The very outer layer, remember there's multiple layers, but the very outer layer of the onion represents the masses, okay? Who I'm serving are the people who are immediately outside the core and in the next layer out from the core. All the other layers out, you who are in the next layer out from the core and that second layer will affect third, fourth, fifth, and outer layers. That's how I see my position. That's how I've been informed. This is not me just being like, well, what's my place in life? I think it's the core. No, it's been a clear and sincere communication with the all that this is my place. And so for those of you who are puritists, who you refuse to be in relationship with, to receive from anything other than that which is pure, you will benefit greatly from the 5-day, from the 30-day, from the year-long, from the private work. Yeah. And then remembering that 2 years to get to a first nature way of being at embodiment. And when I say first nature way of being, I mean where you don't try to be, where you don't have to like have an experience and have a reaction later, where you don't think about it, where you don't need to go do a bunch of processing to come to a decision and first nature way of being is you are it. You are it. And you're embodied, right? So I see it as you are it now, but you're not embodied. The 2 years is how you come into being embodied. And so it's like, I'll close with this. I'll close with two things. One, click the link with this video to sign up to get details and the invitation to join us inside of the 5-day money vortex starting July 27th. That's one. Number two, I can't remember the movie in this moment, so I'll use another example. It's the same message, just different examples. So for those of us, so when we watch, you know, you watch those videos of Africans dancing with white people. I mean, Africans dancing with white people, or black people dancing with white people. Or you see a white girl who is doing what's typical black moves, right? And she's doing a good job. Like, what, girl? And people clapping, and she's doing a good job. And you, right. And then you look at a black woman doing the same moves, or a black man, right? White man, black man, white woman, black woman, doing the same moves. And when you look at her do it, it's like she is it. It's effortless. She just is it. There's one thing to do the dance. It's one thing to do the dance. It's an entirely different thing to be the dance. That's what we're doing here at Melanin Sovereignty. Thank you.